I'm curious as to what your advice might be for the entrepreneurs in the crowd, but also for those in corporate settings that might have an entrepreneurial spirit. How do they excel in what they do?
Well, I'll jump in only because that's exactly where I am right now. I have an entrepreneurial spirit and I'm trapped in a corporate box. I release my entrepreneurial spirit at things like this when I can share ideas and get ideas from other people. But I think you have to find a way to be innovative, and hopefully you can get members of management on board to create something that maybe doesn't exist, which is something that I've done with the bank, a women's initiative that didn't exist at the bank before. But sometimes you have to believe in yourself and you need to convince others. But if you're passionate enough about it and you get to the right people, then you can make it happen. It's not easy though, I'll tell you that.
I would say that entrepreneurship is all about collaboration. So we think of entrepreneurs like somebody in a vacuum by themselves, and you're not. So whether you are out there by yourself and you go out and find like-minded partners and who share your passion, who provide you with funding, who provide you with other resources, or if you're in a corporate entity, to some extent, you might have those kinds of functions built in. I think it's not so much where you are, it's who you are and how you go about it. But, if you're an entrepreneur, you wake up in the morning and you can't help yourself, you're going to solve this great problem, right? When I was in 8th grade, I had too many babysitting jobs and there was only one of me, so I started my first business, nighty-night babysitting service. I had 50 kids out babysitting. I was pimping them out Friday and Saturday. I woke up in the morning and I couldn't help it.
We tell them bedtime.
Couldn't help it. So if it's in your blood, you're going to do it. You're going to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
But I think the key point is you can't do it alone. Collaboration is great, but you really have to make the connections. You have to get the right team around you. So I was at one point I was in 150 partnerships. So you can't do it alone, and you don't have to worry about it. Get the right people to be on the team, whether you're in a corporation or not, and then that gets things happening.
I think for me, innovation has to do how can you, because you're very young. You know that we're not young here, because we're also young. But when you join corporations, you're gonna have a completely different pair of eyes. So you see the world very different for many people around you. So the way to innovate is to try to bring ideas to people around you and try to allow them to see something different. And sometimes you have the best idea and you can see it. But when you talk to other people, they cannot see it. And until you can really see them by allow them to grow with you to where you're trying to get to. I think you can amazing do great things by sharing your ideas with others and allowing them to provide their perspective that may be different from your perspective. So in reality, together you can both innovate. The other way I also is try people to think about is what can you do to your community? So sometimes we only think about business and our work, but I spend a lot of my time in community from all kind of diversity populations. And it's not that I don't have a lot of time, but I also try to bring ideas to help other people in the community. So you can also innovate that way.
I think one of the great things about entrepreneurs is, and I consider myself one from the nonprofit sector, but we can be high energy and we have a lot of ideas, but to also be aware of not only engaging other people in that vision, but not exhausting them. Well, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and you're chasing it, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't catch up with the first thing. But to just make sure that you're bringing along the people on your team, allowing them to buy into the vision, but also not exhausting them.